All right. Hello, everyone. This is the next section here is section 4.1 extend. It's kind of an extension of section 4.1 and really an extension of a lot of the sections we're doing here. And it's really going to be real short here because we're just going to talk about a couple things, and then we're going to do most of this in class together because we can get graphing calculators out and work with them. But let's talk about families of graphs. So what is a family of graphs? What is it? It's graphs that have at least one common characteristic. And we can break those common characteristics into two categories. The first one being graphs with the same slope. And that means they have the same m value. They'll have the same slope. And the second category would be graphs that have the same y-intercept, or your b value. So if they have the same slope, that's one category of a family. If they have the same intercept, the y-intercept, your b value, that is the same, another category of family of graphs. Okay, so we're going to look at those and see what changes and what happens when we alter m's and b's and things like that. Parent graph. What is the parent graph? Parent graph is the most basic graph in a family, and for us that is the graph y equals x. Y equals x. And this is also known as the identity function. We're going to kind of take a look at that and do some different graphing and look at some different graphs and how it compares to the identity function, the most basic graph in a family, y equals x. We're talking about graphing calculators. We'll just kind of give you some tips on them. And then the rest we're kind of going to do in class. So that's all we're going to have to do today. Number one, to clear the memory from a graphing calculator, the first thing we can do, if you hit the second button plus button, 7, 1, and 2. So there's 5 buttons there. Might not make sense to you now, but if you hit the second button, plus button, 7, 1, 2. It's 5 presses there. It'll clear the memory. And it's always a good thing to do right away when you turn it on, just because you don't know what the last person was doing with it and what was going on in their screens. You can always clear the memory that way. To exit a screen, a little tip here is to hit the second button and then mode, and it'll get rid of a screen. So if you get in a situation where you're like, I don't know what's going on here, I don't know what the screen's doing, if you hit second mode, it'll get you out of there real quick. We're going to have to enter variables, and we want to enter a variable x. So there's a button that it's kind of got an x, a t, this Easter egg thing that's called theta, and n. That's a variable button. We can press that button to give us an x. And finally, to enter an equation into the graph, we're going to have to do that. There's a button, there's a y equals button that we can push to give you an equation. Up near the top, you'll find top left, I think, you'll see a y equals button, and you'll get an equation. Okay? So not much here. I just wanted to give you a little bit in advance, a few tips here, just so that when we're working on this, we have some ideas of what we're doing so we can get to work and get after it. So that's it for 4.1 Extend. We'll see you tomorrow.